Along those lines, longtime Browns beat reporter Tony Grossi about the head coach and GM.
You started by saying you think that yesterday was the nail in the coffin.
I do.
And you think both Stefanski and Barry are gone.
Yes.
What would be the fate of Jim Schwartz, whose defense looks absolutely incredible?
I think Jim Schwartz deserves to be a candidate for head coach. And if
Will
this,
the Hasms grant him that? Do you
oh,
think?
I think so.
Okay,
absolutely. And I think he should be considered in the pool of candidates for sure. You can't let him leave the building after you left Vrabel leave the building. This is incredible that it's gotten to this point.
Scott, I'm kind of with you. I still don't know that it's, I don't think anything is set in stone yet. But, as we get further along the season and the win total is still 2 or 3 or 4, it does make me kind of wonder.
I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Like, I don't think they can win 2 or 3 games and Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barry come back. I do think wins matter, especially coming off 3-14. If they got to 5 and they win 3 of their last 7, they go 3-4 and they look okay and you're seeing some progress from the quarterback, is that enough? I don't know. I just don't think the decision's been made. And I know the Hasms entered the season, and I would say even during the season, want to bring those 2 guys back. I don't know if that's changed. I hate the idea of focusing on one game and saying, oh, that's it. And, I mean, the Jets game the week before, right? I know we talked about it. It was a terrible look. It's a game it's hard to forget as an owner. I look at yesterday's game completely differently. The Browns are winning the game at halftime against a good Ravens team that had won 3 in a row. They played great defense all game. You don't get any offense in the second half. And is it Kevin Stefanski's fault that you have a rookie backup quarterback? I don't think so. So I just don't quite connect those dots where yesterday's game was a referendum on Stefanski. Why? Because Shedeur Sanders wasn't better prepared? Like, I just don't agree with that argument. So it's hard for me to go there. But I'm not getting away from the wins and losses, and I do think those will matter. But we have 7 games left, and I think those 7 games are going to be critical for the future of Stefanski and or Barry.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's, for a minute, assuming it goes south and they move on from him, how serious of a candidate should Jim Schwartz be? I would think, again, I'm not there as often as you are. I think he's really well respected, really well liked. It's a guy that has NFL head coaching experience, not a great record. I would think that would be a guy, and I guess where I'm going with this is, I don't think this is a situation where the hot young coordinator candidate works. So I would.
That's it.
Schwartz would intrigue me. Schwartz would really intrigue me.
Yeah. I'm fine with that idea. He obviously deserves a look. He wasn't as bad in Detroit as the overall record. He took over. I think he took over a winless team. Took him to the playoffs at some point. So that doesn't bother me. Whatever his record was, I think the head coaching experience matters. He's obviously done a great job with the Browns defense. He's a great defensive coordinator. You want him to remain connected to that defense. If you hired a guy like Jim Schwartz, or just hired Jim Schwartz, the key would be who's he going to have as his offensive coordinator. Because I assume the Browns are going to draft a quarterback, and whether they draft one or trade for one or sign one or rely on these 2 guys, the 2 rookies, they got to figure out the quarterback position. And Jim Schwartz is not that guy. So it would be critical that he had the right guy to shepherd whoever that quarterback is. I don't know if that could be Tommy Rees. That feels like you're just making kind of one move and keeping everybody else. But that would be the biggest hire. If you hire Jim Schwartz, or if you hired any defensive-minded guy, you have to have that person to help you figure out quarterback.
Yeah, that would be, the critical thing is, and I don't know who Jim Schwartz is connected with that is still in the league.